It looks something like this.
Hello gorgeous, welcome back to my channel. We are continuing the beauty basics, or the beginner's guide to beauty, or beauty basics, whatever you want to call it, series. Today I'm going to take a little of a, not go directly underneath the foundation, kind of go off to the side a little bit and talk about makeup brushes, because this is one of my probably most asked questions from my gorgeous girls is, what brushes do I use? Do I really need this many brushes? What do I do with this brush? It's just like, it's very, very confusing, and I know that because there are about 1 million brushes on the market and you don't know where to start. So I'm gonna take you through the basics and show you step by step what brushes you actually need to get a face done. So let's do it. To begin with, I'm gonna show you the brushes that I use all the time. Now these are my brushes that I keep on my desk. I don't use every single one of them all the time. These are just the ones that I like to have within an arm's reach. I have a lot more brushes than this. This is just the ones that I use frequently. By no means am I saying these are the brushes that you need, because nobody needs this many unless you're a makeup artist. You don't need this many. This is just what I have. This is my face brush collection right here and my eye brush collection right here. And then I keep my beauty blender in this little travel thing. It turns like this. And it's got the vents so that when you're traveling, when it's wet, it can dry out without getting all nasty. What I'm gonna do first is we're gonna separate it and we're gonna talk about foundation first. So I'm gonna show you the brushes that I currently have in my collection that I actually use for foundation. And I'm gonna tell you what I think you actually need. So for foundation, the brushes that I have are the round brush that you apply like this. I think Artis is the first one to come out with this design. This is not Artis, but I do have a ton of Artis brushes. This one is pure. And then the other one is my very, very, very favorite foundation brush, and that is the Face 2. This is a Marc Jacobs brush. This is pricey. If I had to pick between the two, I would pick this one all day long, but I love this one too. They both do a really great job. But when it's all said and done, do you need a foundation brush? In my opinion, no. I don't think that you do. Is it nice to have one? Yeah, but I don't think you need one. What I do think you need is just a beauty blender. If you don't like beauty blenders, you can use like a silicone sponge. Like I have one called the Makeup Drop, or you could use a makeup wedge or whatever it is, but I prefer beauty blenders. What I like to do is put my foundation on the back of my hand, have my beauty blender, make sure it's damp. I get so much hate on my beauty blender video because everyone's like, why do you say that you have to use a beauty blender damp? You don't have to. Well, if you look it up, you actually are supposed to. It's designed to be used wet, because when it's dry like this, it's gonna absorb your makeup. When it's damp, it's gonna sit on the surface more. So when it's damp, I pick up my foundation right here, and then I just pounce it all over my face. And I feel like the beauty blender gives you the most airbrushed, flawless foundation finish, more so than even a brush. And even when I do apply with a brush, I still always finish it off with a beauty blender. So in my opinion, all you need is a beauty blender when applying foundation, and that's it. Next up on the face after foundation for me is concealer, although a lot of times I start with the eyes. I'm gonna go in this order. But I keep 2 concealer brushes in my makeup collection. And the reason I have 2 is I use one for my peach corrector and one for my concealer. And then I also have my Dermablend brush, which I don't actually know what they call this one. There's no markings on it except for Dermablend, but it came with their color correctors. Do I think that you need a separate concealer brush for concealer, for color corrector, or just in general? If you have a beauty blender, I don't. I think that you don't have to have one. But is it nice? Yeah. The reason I think that it's nice to have a concealer brush when you're color correcting at any particular spots, especially under the eyes, is that you only want to put the color corrector exactly where you're correcting. You don't want to, like if you're using the peach under your eyes, you want to get it right where you're color correcting, which is on the purple. And if you get it outside of the purple, it's going to make that area of your skin look peach, and that's not what you want. You only want to use it for color correcting. So I think that you can get it more precise with a brush and then blend it out with the beauty blender. Is it necessary? No. Is it nice? Yes. In regards to concealer, 9 times out of 10, I apply concealer directly out of the tube depending on what kind I'm using, or with my finger and then blend it out with the damp beauty blender. So again, this is not necessary. I think if you have a beauty blender, that's all you need. For setting powder under my eyes, I actually prefer to apply it with a damp beauty blender because I feel like you can just really get it on there nicely if you're going to bake. But the thing that I do like to do is to then wipe away the excess with a brush. My favorite brush is the Pro Air brush. This is a Sephora brush. I think it's the 55. I love this one so much. I use it for applying my powder, you know, my T-zone, for wiping away under the eyes. I really love this. I apply a lot of times with my beauty blender, then wipe away excess with this, or actually my compact, which is my pressed powder that I love from IT Cosmetics, the CC powder. I apply it directly out of the compact with this brush. So this is a brush, I really do think that a powder brush goes a long way. You can use this, but I prefer to have a powder brush on hand as well. Next up is bronzer. Okay, so I have 3 different brushes for contouring. These 2 are the Luxie brushes, the JD Wadey 180 collection. These are specifically made for contouring. I love this one so much because it's made for contouring right there and along the edges of your nose. I love this brush. If you could buy this brush by itself, I would tell every single person that they should buy it because I love it that much. This brush is great too. I never use this side of it. I only use the fan side, and it's really good for getting like there and around the face and along the jawline. It's really nice. And then I also have a regular bronzer brush. This brush isn't necessary when you have just a good bronzer brush. In a pinch, I will contour with my damp beauty blender. I do a lot of times blend out my bronzer even after application with my damp beauty blender just to get like a really nice finish. But I really like to have a bronzer brush on hand. This one is the Bronze by Marc Jacobs. By all means, you do not need a Marc Jacobs brush to do bronzer. There are so many bronzer brushes out there that are going to do a great job, whether you go with Sigma, MAC, whatever you want. But I do like a bronzer brush to get into my cheeks and just blend. And I like to always take the excess across the bridge of my nose, even if I do contour, because I want to work in the contour, a little bit of bronze on my nose, because I don't like the look of just having contoured edges of nose and then nothing right here. I like to add a little bit right there. So I feel like a bronzer brush, if you are contouring, is just something that you need to have in your makeup kit. The next brush is a blush brush. Okay, again, you can use a damp beauty blender to apply your blush, but there's just something about a blush brush that I feel like is just necessary. This is Real Techniques. If you don't know about Real Techniques, it's a drugstore brand and it's created by 2 YouTubers, Pixie Woo, love them so much. But this is the only blush brush that I have used now for years and I love it. I think it does a great job. And there's no reason to drop a whole bunch of money on a blush brush in my opinion. You can use this in a pinch, but I don't ever travel without this. I don't ever do my blush without this unless I'm in a pinch. So, love it. Next, I want to talk about eyebrows. Okay, so that's something that you definitely have to have a brush for, unless you're using a pencil. If you're using a pencil, you don't need one, but you still need a spoolie. So, I have 2 eyebrow brushes. They're basically the same. One is IT Cosmetics and one is Benefit. They are, like, you can tell, they basically are the same and they both have the spoolie on the edge. It's got the angle at the top. I love both of these. They both do the exact same thing. I love them equally as much as each other, but that's something that you do need. If you are looking to buy makeup brushes, an eyebrow brush is a must. And if you don't need the actual brush side, like I said, because you use a pencil, at least get a spoolie, and you can get one of these at, you know, Target or Walmart and from e.l.f. for probably $1, but this is just really good to have, especially so it doubles because you can use it to comb your brows into place, but also to comb your lashes. And if you have extensions like I do, you're gonna comb your lashes all the time. And it's just something to always have on hand. All right, if you are a member of my Facebook group, Gorgeous Girls Community, then you know how much I have been on the Marie Kondo train with cleaning out, purging, organizing. So when I look at this right here, it a little bit gives me anxiety because it's like, Angela, you do not need all of these brushes in your everyday brush set. And I would have to say, yeah, you're right, I don't. So what I am gonna say is I'm gonna tell you the brushes that I actually do use all the time for eyes and that I love. Number 1 are the flat shader brushes. So I have 2 brands here. I have MAC and then I have Zoeva. Zoeva is the 234 and the MAC is the 230. They are completely identical. Like, you cannot tell the difference. This is my most go-to brush, and the reason is because of that flat shader head. It's just how you pat your shadows neatly across your lid. I do not like the applicators that come in eyeshadow that you buy. I think that they are horrific. I think that they pull your skin. They do not blend. It's just, don't even get me started. You need brushes. This is something that if you do not buy a single makeup brush for your face, buy eyeshadow brushes, because it will up your eyeshadow game by 1000%. You need them. Trust me. These brushes are a must. You need a flat shader brush so that you can at the very least pat your shadow from lash line to brow bone. Like, you know, if it's just a skin tone shade, whatever it is, this is a brush that I feel like everybody needs to have, is a flat shader brush. Okay, the next brush that you need besides a flat shader brush is a fluffy brush. This is a MAC 217, a MAC 224. This is Zoeva 221 or a Morphe M433. The Morphe is my least favorite out of these, so I'm gonna set that down. My most favorite is this Zoeva. It's the Luxe Soft Crease 221. I love it so much. And why I love it is because you can just deposit your shadow into your crease so easily. And look, I am not dragging my skin whatsoever, but you just get in there and apply it, and you build your coverage. This is my favorite crease. My second favorite crease brush is probably gonna be the 217 and then the 224. The 224 I like to keep clean in my makeup set or makeup brush holder, and I like to then use it specifically just for blending, not for depositing, but just for blending. But these three are my favorite. So I think every girl should have one flat shader brush and one fluffy blending brush, or soft crease brush, whatever you want to call it. But I think that one of each of these is necessary to just create any eye look that you need. The final eyeshadow brush that I think that every girl should have in their collection, and as you can see, I still have a ton more in here, and I use them all for different things, and they all get used. That's why they're there. But is a smudge brush. And the reason you need a smudge brush is to smudge out or smoke out a line, especially a lash line. But I love the smudge brush for depositing color right there onto the lower lash line. Or say I apply eyeshadow along the lash line and it's kind of messy because I want that smoked out look, then I'm going to use the smudge brush and smudge it out, smoke it out. I just love this, and even if I'm not using it for one of those two reasons, I like to just apply a little bit of highlight to my inner corner right there, and this is just so small and petite that it just fits right into that corner and gets exactly what I want done. All right, so that is like the very basics on makeup brushes. Like, not specifically brands, but specifically the brushes and what they do and what you need to get just a full face look. Like, honestly, if you got yourself a beauty blender, you can do pretty much your entire face except for your brows and your eyeshadows. Like, I did a whole video about it. So if you haven't seen that, then just go into YouTube, type Angela Lanter Beauty Blender. It'll come up, and I literally do my entire face with the Beauty Blender, and it looks just as good as if I would have used brushes, in my opinion. So this is really like the magic little pink puff of goodness. So I think that it does like everything that you need, with the exception of brows and eyeshadows. So what did you guys think? Do you guys like this series? I got so much positive feedback on my foundation video, so I hope you guys like this one too. I want to do a lot more of these actually. Specifically, I like to do contouring. Maybe I'll do another updated beauty blender routine. I want to teach you guys how to do eyeshadow, how to blend it out, how to apply it. Let me know in the comments, what do you want to see for the Beauty for Beginners series? Like, what is it that you want to see? Because I am listening. So tell me, and I am probably going to do it. All right, guys, make sure to visit me on my blog, angelalanter.com, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those fun places. And please, please, please subscribe to my channel and be in the know, be in the know of when I put up a new video, which is always Fridays. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I love y'all so much. Au revoir.